This is One-on-One. Steve Adubato coming to you from Rowan University. We're pleased to welcome Dr. Rouzbeh Nazari, who is Assistant Professor, Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, Rowan University, and also Director of the Resiliency Lab at Rowan. Good to see you, Doctor.
Thanks for having me.
Talk about the Resiliency Lab. What is it and why does it matter?
So the Resiliency Lab is the work that we're doing on a project from the state of New Jersey. And this came about after Sandy. So resiliency,
2012 Sandy?
2012 Sandy. And resiliency, the ability to recover and withstand the storms and go back to normal operation. And that is our goal for the future. We want to make a system that is ready to tolerate the storm and also recover from, go back to the normal operation. So the goal of Resiliency Lab is help the people of New Jersey at 3 stages: before, during, and after. What are the resources they need to have? What are the preparations that they need to have? And during the storm, how to get out of the area, and after, how to come back and go back to their normal life.
Doctor, let's take a look at this. Behind us, what we're looking at is Long Beach Island. Right?
That is correct.
What is this? What does it show us? And what does it have to do with if, in fact, there's a storm? What the folks in and around Long Beach Island, the decision makers, municipal officials, what they would have to do to prepare?
So as I said, this is going to help people in preparation. One of the things is before a storm, you want to come to this system like this to look at where you are. What are the available basically resources next to you? How the storm is going to approach and hit your community. And the important information is what is the level of flood? That means how deep the flood is going to be around your property. All right, that's a great question. So we have access to models that can predict this information. We take the ocean energy based on the available information from the soil type, elevation, type of structures, age of the structure, and a lot of other factors that goes into it. We can predict that how much of water you're going to have and where is it going to be, what available resources are going to be destroyed, or they're going to survive and be available after a storm. So this is actually a good resource for not only just people, but also municipalities to see what is going to be their scenarios and prepare in advance. If you have one specific bridge that is going to serve your community and there is a chance of failure, you want to make sure that you start your evacuation hours before a storm, before even the storm
Instead of when it's too late.
In storm, yeah, exactly.
Is it often too late in storms the way people get information and then they give it, oh, let's get out of here now because there's a problem? You're saying this is a tropical storm, right? So you're adjusting based on the storm. We're seeing more and more, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking. We have a home in Lavallette, New Jersey. The next town over, Ortley Beach, was devastated by Superstorm Sandy, particularly on certain streets. Are you saying that this technology could show us which streets in Ortley Beach would have been more vulnerable? That
is the whole goal. As you see on the other side, as the storm is coming up.
This is tropical hurricane.
The tropical storm that is coming up. Different storm level, you're going to see what roads are going to be available, what are the roads that are going to go offline. So the challenge is to...
Offline meaning?
Offline, that means they're not going to be available. They're going to be flooded during storm. So the challenge is to allow people to see this and understand that if they act late, what is going to be the possible scenario? And based on this information, we still want to help people that even they act late to be able to get out of this area. So that's why we have available evacuation maps that they could look up and get themselves out of the area safely. But the challenge here is to make sure that people have access to such data sets that they can use in advance and prepare accordingly. As you said, some areas, they're more vulnerable than the other one. The fact that, the town next door has been safe all the time, or the past storm, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be the same scenario now.
So hold on one second, because I don't wanna make this about Lavallette or Ortley Beach or that area of Ocean County, because the Jersey Shore is a huge area, if you will, on the East Coast in New Jersey. But it did strike me that in the town we were in, the damage wasn't as bad as the next town over, and I couldn't figure out why. You're saying, without belaboring this point, that this technology would help us understand how many days before that Ortley Beach is more vulnerable. By the way, it could be Ortley Beach, could be Point Pleasant, could be whatever. How many days before would you know this? Would municipal officials know it?
So here's the thing. People actually can have access to different scenarios of a storm category 1 to category 4.
You mean citizens or municipal officials?
This is available to everyone. The system that we're building, NJ Flood Alert, is going to be
NJ Flood Alert
is going to be available to everyone. And these maps are made easy that you don't need to have a huge computer background to understand this. These are very easy to understand. You can go access it and look at your property and look at the flood depth around your property and also get some recommendations in terms of what is it that you need to have. If your flood is in minor location, minor area, maybe having a sump pump and a flood insurance is good enough. But if you are a higher risk area, there are certain recommendations that applies to you that you need to pay attention.
So let me ask you this, what I'm curious about. Is you're also partnering, Doctor, with municipal governments. So are municipal governments coming to you saying, listen, we don't have this technology, we don't know how to do this stuff, but we have to protect our citizens. Is that how it happens?
That is a great question. When we put this project together, we sat down with 35 municipalities and asked them, what is it that you need to have to help people during, after, and even prior to the storm? And they said that we do have this need of having access to data, maps, the locations that they are basically at high risk. Currently, we don't have it and it's not available to us.
Does the entire state of New Jersey have this right now?
So right now, this is going to be available for entire New Jersey at a lower resolution, meaning that we don't have all that detailed information about the specific properties, but we do have it for towns. But for two towns, which are the main study area, that is Woodbridge Township, and the other one is Brick Township.
Hold on, Brick?
And Woodbridge.
Woodbridge, go ahead.
They're going to have high resolution information about specific properties, the risk associated to it. That means this is tailored to citizens and also to the municipalities. Hopefully, with the project going forward, we will have it for the entire state of New Jersey.
So it's so interesting. Woodbridge, if I'm not mistaken, is in central New Jersey in Middlesex County. And the other community, Brick, why those two different communities?
So there are two different scenarios. One of them is sitting right on the ocean, and you have the storm surge.
That's Brick.
Brick. And then for Woodbridge, you have an interesting scenario that you have riverine. They're close to a large body of water, and you have the impact of river going up.
Is that the Raritan?
That's Raritan River. So one of the things that we wanted to do, we wanted to cover the two sides, the impact of the ocean and inland water, so that it's going to be a prototype, basically example for the entire state if you're going to move forward.
One more quick thing about Woodbridge. I don't want to break this down too much, but if anyone who has been driving in New Jersey and you know the Garden State Parkway and the Turnpike and Route 1, the thing about Woodbridge is many highways intersect. Am I making too much of that?
Absolutely. You have a lot of main junctions. So the challenge is you have cascading events. You have some roads that are more important than others because a lot of the other roads lead to that certain point. If you have those junctions go offline, as I said, that means they get flooded, then you have a very different scenario. So as a part of this study, we are looking at all the possible scenarios of evacuation if certain roads basically become flooded. And the goal is for a lot of people that want to get out of the storm and they want to be early or even they want to act late, there is a path for them to move out of the area safely.
Dr. Nazari, the information you have provided is so valuable. More important, people can talk about global warming in the abstract, but the reality is, it seems to me it's common sense, that having this information beforehand and be able to make the smartest decisions to protect us and everyone around us is so important, and that's the work you're involved in. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by St. Joseph's Health, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Suez, New Jersey Sharing Network, the Turl Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, the Northward Center, and by Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.